welcome to the second episode of Into the Comedic Mind of Amanda Mulder. And I hope you're all doing well out there and having a great May. My May has been really incredible. I started this comedy class with Mia Jackson, and it's through the Hill People Comedy Festival, and honestly, it's the best party I've ever crashed and best random class I've ever found online. All the people are super nice, and even though they all seem to know each other from the Belvedere Theater in Albany, and I'm basically the random person that scoured the internet and looked for a good opportunity like this, everyone's been really welcoming, and I'm just really thankful for the opportunity to be learning comedy with this great class of people and in a very supportive, wonderful environment. So, had the first class, it was an overview of comedy, and I learned about writing setups, punchlines, tags, which I'm really excited about formatting my comedy more into that style that people are into. And I get to watch some comedy and find the punchlines and tags. So I'm excited about that. So May is a good month with that class and going out and doing comedy at Ha-Ha's Comedy, and yeah, just getting out there. Next week I'm going to an all-women's comedy show in Erie, so I'm looking forward to that. So really good opportunities out there, making the most of it, taking advantage of it, and doing the best I can. I watched this week's episode of Hacks, and if any of you do watch that show, I don't want to give any spoilers, but Hacks is really speaking to me this season a lot. And the one line, I won't say much about it, but there's one line where one character asks another character, "How did you get here?" And the comedian says, "Well, I guess it was just luck." And the other character says, "No, you got better. Comedy is like sports. You don't just start at 60 and make a slam dunk." So I thought that was a really good line from Hacks to remind everyone that everyone starts somewhere when you do any kind of art. And honestly, we should all be really welcoming and nice to emerging artists, and make sure you're involved in the community. And yeah, I thought that was just really cool, and just remembering that everyone starts somewhere, and you could really make a difference in someone's life. But yeah, Hacks is so good. If you don't watch that show and you're into comedy, you really should. It celebrates women in comedy, and it just is incredible. I love it. It's speaking to me. This season's speaking to me in so many ways. And there were some other things, and yeah. So if you ever want to talk Hacks, please hit me up. Anyway, moving on to the theme I got from Hacks this week. Everyone starts somewhere. I want to tell you a little bit about my journey and how I started into stand-up comedy, and like what led me to where I am today. So I'm going to go back even to like high school, and I didn't really do too much theater in high school. I did some musical performing, but it was 10th grade, and I kind of wanted to get out of my shell and do some acting and some theater. And that's when I started to join my local thespian troupe. Um, and I was in a few plays and a few drama classes. And honestly, all we did was comedy. All we did at Butler High School was comedy. We never did tragedy. We never did anything more multifaceted. It was always comedy. So my early days, I got a lot of comedy in high school, but I honestly didn't really get a very versatile experiences in high school. I got kind of frustrated actually. So I wanted to explore acting more. I did like comedy. So someone got me in touch. There was a whole other story about how I got in touch with the Society for Creative Anachronism. But once I got into the Society for Creative Anachronism, someone got me in touch with a commedia group called E.G. Anici, and I started studying Commedia dell'arte theater with E.G. Anici. This was back in, was it like 2002? I don't know, around that time. And honestly, the people in E.G. Anici, they didn't really know how to teach me comedy, and they thought I sucked at it and kicked me out of the group. Yeah, no lie, because Commedia dell'arte is, it's a form of Italian unscripted theater with archetypal characters. It's there's lover characters, there's servant characters, there are old men. I could go into that. I'll probably go into that more in a future video, but you have to really know the characters and know how they would act. It's almost like, I think of it as like role playing, like know your role playing character to get from plot A to B. But in Commedia, everyone knows the play. Well, in the Italian theater, the Italian Renaissance theater, everyone knows the play, everyone knows the scenario, and you have to know how your character would respond to get from point A to B. And no one really communicated that with me. No one really taught me about the characters. They just said, hey, put on this mask. And, I was waiting for our script, never showed up. So, yeah, they didn't think I was very good, but I also didn't get really good directions or very good training. So, I was pretty heartbroken. I cried for days, and I was like, this isn't gonna stop me from doing comedy. And I decided when I was in college to get a group together to do comedy, Commedia dell'arte. And I found a group of people. We wrote our own plays. We acted together. I even did the lights, the costumes, the set for a lot of these plays. It was pretty incredible. I really wish I had taken more videos back then, or I knew where the videos were. But yeah, we did it all, and it was so fun. And so then people kept kind of coming to see the comedy, and I got invited to do comedy at like Commedia at the Wild Rose Ren Fair, and a dinner theater in Jamestown and a couple other places, the zoo, and it was pretty cool. And then around that time, that's when I moved to Maryland, and Maryland has a lot more opportunities, a lot of stuff going on. And in Maryland, I had the opportunity to pursue both Commedia, and that's also where I got into stand-up comedy. So Commedia, I actually ran my own troupe, Vagando Stolti, The Wandering Fools. And we did some really amazing performances. We performed at Artscape, which is the largest art festival, free art festival on the East Coast. And that was probably one of my greatest accomplishments, is getting selected to do that. And it was a paid, performance. We did Fools Lost in Space. We did everything from parades to street performing to just finding a corner and performing, a park. It was super fun. We did Fractured Fairy Tales. We did Modern Commedia. We did the traditional Commedia. We did fairy festivals. It was a really good time. But around that time, I lived in Maryland. I had a friend, like a boyfriend, and he started doing stand-up comedy at a place called the Bear Tavern. His friends kind of set it up like a pop-up comedy, and it had so many people, and he did like historical stories, and it was just, I went and saw him, and I listened to other people, and I just felt like there weren't that many women there, and I realized, hey, I can do this. And I made it my mission the next time that we went to the Bear Tavern that I was going to get up there. I mean, I knew nothing about comedy. I knew nothing about stand-up, but I knew I could get up there and do it. So we got there. So yeah, we went to the Bear Tavern the next time, and I told my boyfriend, like, hey, I'm gonna do it this time. And everyone was really supportive. And there weren't that many women, I remember, and I got up and did a routine, I was turning 30 at the time, and I was just talking about defying age and some funny things about it. And after I performed, a few women came over, and they told me, like, my stories were funny, and that I inspired them because I was kind of rebelling against, like, societal standards, and, and they gave them hope. And that's when I realized that comedy has, like, a power to tell your story, to give people hope, to pass your message along and inspire people. And yeah, I was really moved, and I like I said, did not know anything about comedy, wasn't really studying or watching comedians, just got up there and did it. Well, the Bear Tavern sort of, it kind of ended, and we stopped doing stand-up comedy. I met up with one of my friends, and I'm still friends with both these people. And I went up with a friend for dinner, and I had said, like, I had started doing stand-up comedy recently, and my friend was, like, sad that he didn't get to come watch. And I said, well, the great part about stand-up comedy is you can do it anywhere. So I decided to perform in a mall courtyard, and for my friend that didn't get to see me, and for random people that were just coming up to go to the mall that saw me performing a comedy routine. And people were clapping. My friend enjoyed it. And, I thought it was pretty fun. I like doing random crap like that. So, but yeah, I moved back from Maryland to Pennsylvania, and I had a new job. I had a lot of things to do, like transitioning, and I'm happy I moved back. It all worked out, and the COVID happened, pandemic happened, so I just wasn't really, and I had a job that I worked a lot of hours and evenings, weekends, and it was super stressful. So I wasn't really into it. I was into surviving. And anyway, a few of my friends came up for the eclipse that happened in April, and it was my one friend who saw my stand-up performance in a courtyard. And he said, hey, do you still do stand-up comedy? I remember that one time you performed at the mall and you were really good back then. And it just reminded me, like, wow, if that was 10 years ago and I had very little experience, what could I do now if I really dove into comedy, if I really started studying it, practicing, and, you know, I'm 40. If I practiced it for 20 years or so or more, hopefully I keep living, hopefully, could I really become incredible at this? You know, I really started to mull it over in my mind, and I just couldn't get it out of my mind. So I grabbed a notebook and I just started writing things down in April, and wasn't able to really do much in April because, yeah, crazy life, and I won't go into the rest of my life. That kind of exploded after that. But in September, I had a lot of transitions, got a new job, and things were a lot better in my life. It wasn't working crazy hours anymore, have a lot more flexibility. So I thought about really getting into comedy and thinking about studying it and really doing a deep dive. So I went to the Bored Teachers Comedy Tour because those are my people. I'm a teacher comedian, and I saw them, and I'm thinking, like, this is what I aspire to be. This is where I see myself. So I went to the Bored Teachers Comedy Tour when I was in Erie. And then the next day, September 14th, I went to my first open mic night and just started going pretty much every week since. So, and open mic nights are practice. They're like, kind of like that from that quote, they're, you know, going and practicing, throwing things out, trying to find your voice, trying to find your flow. You know, it's not meant to be like a great performance. It's like, someone said it's like going to the gym and like running on the elliptical for an hour. So you have to get out there, you have to do it, you have to experiment, you have to just say things. Hopefully you're also reading about comedy. I'm reading the Comedy Bible. I'm taking this comedy class. I'm really immersing myself. I'm seeing comedians that I feel relate a lot to who I want to be someday, and trying to network and do a bunch of different things. So those are the main things that I've learned so far, and I keep learning, and I love it. So I'm thankful for my experience. And I still do Commedia dell'arte. I love Commedia dell'arte so much. It's so deeply ingrained in my soul after, I think, 21 years or so. You know, shout out to the Confused Greenies, shout out to Sebastiani, shout out to Commedia All Stars. EG and ECI are my friends now. So yeah, it's a totally different group. I love them all. So it's a really good community out there. I don't think I missed anyone out. Oh, shout out to Professorio. Yeah, shout out to everyone that I interact with, and really appreciate you all out there in the arts. And so that's kind of where I've been, and I do love comedy, and I plan to keep going. Yeah, nothing's gonna stop me at this point. I'm just gonna keep powering through. So hope you're all doing well, and I will, talk to you again soon. Bye. Bye.